All his gear was packed up since he didn't have room for it or his 60-foot antenna tower in this little crap hole duplex. He pulls about 20 feet of unshielded wire off a roll and starts running it out the back of his radio, along the wall, up about 5 feet, back down, across the wall some more, up again, and back down. He knew where the tower speakers were located on the other side of the wall from having coffee with the neighbors. He keys up the mic and we could hear the click come through the wall. He then shouted, "Turn that down," into the mic, and it came back through the wall louder than I could hear his voice while standing next to him. And about half of down is replaced with a loud plump noise, followed by silence. Hits the amplifier for the stereo, gets right past any protection circuits inside it. My dad had an ear-to-ear grin before we had douchebag son pounding on our door. My dad opened the door and this kid starts throwing punches immediately. Called the cops again, now with an assault report, and suddenly they show up in minutes. My dad didn't press charges, but the cops made him apologize, and when his parents got home, they made their son pay for the stereo. That was the last party he ever had. I swear, there is so many of these loud neighbor posts on here that involve loud sound systems. But I gotta say, it's still a pretty funny story. The dude fried his amplifier without even going in his house or touching it. That's pretty damn genius. I got someone fired twice. So I've been working in advertising for about 8 years now. Back in my old agency, we hired someone new to handle digital for a couple of small-time clients, but she was new to the industry. Let's call her EC, Evil Crap. She didn't last long as she had attitude problems and would regularly make major mistakes and repeat them. So after 6 months, I told her that it's not going to work out, but that we thank her for being with us. Basically no hard feelings. I never burned bridges, and I was still kinda junior in my middle management career. A couple years later, I left that agency and started doing my own thing, but then settled as head of digital at a new agency that had a small client, but one that had a big global name. Their retainer was pretty low, and I had told the managing director, MD, that it wasn't a client worth keeping if they wouldn't increase their retainer by at least 15%. But my agency insisted that they're a good name to keep. Whatever, I didn't invest too much time into it. A few weeks later, the client hires a new digital manager, and it turns out to be EC, and she gives me this smirk in our first meeting. I'm not new in the industry, so I don't really take it too seriously, but she tries to make life hell for my employees. Constant angry emails and unrealistic expectations. But in my face, she was always nice. She would even send me private WhatsApp messages thanking me for the good work, but sending huge criticisms via email with her boss CC'd. She thought that just because she's my client, I was scared or something. Anyway, fast forward a couple months, and she sends an email to the MD, whom I directly report to, and says that I haven't given any care to the account, and that there are too many things going wrong, that I should be adding value to the account. I tell my boss that they only pay for 2 hours per month of my time, and that I'm giving them 1 day a week. More than generous, and that she is being unreasonable with her demands. Honestly, she's kind of a choosing beggar, but that's another story. Anyway, my boss asked to be looped into the emails moving forward. Pissing me off, but whatever. After 3 days, he sees how ridiculous it's getting and says to me, "I've had this account for 12 years. I'm not about to let EC ruin it. Do what you can to take her down." I comply. She didn't take into account that our contract ended in exactly 1 month from the moment I got the green light to screw her over. And if she didn't have the agency to take over the account, she would definitely be under serious scrutiny from her management. Her boss had no idea how much time I put into the account and how much time the team has invested. So I make sure I keep timesheets, records, and rounds of feedback she's given. We had an agency review meeting 3 days before contract extension, and I present the 2019 to 2020 strategy and contract with a 130% increase in the retainer. Her and her boss freak out and are like, "What? No way. How could you even present that?" I show her boss all emails, all WhatsApp conversations, confirming what she wants to be delivered for the year, and say that we won't take them on as a client if they're not willing to pay what's worth.